Okay guys, today I wanted to bring you a new workout that I've been playing with that's fantastic as a general strength and conditioning program leading into a more structured, more demanding, more planned out strength and conditioning program for the Jiu-Jitsu athlete. And it's an adaptation of the Jarovek Complex, Javorek, I believe I'll write it in the description below. I may pronounce that incorrectly, but it's a series of 6 exercises performed back to back in supersets with over 3 sets with anywhere between 30 to 50% of your body weight, and I'll explain all this in a second. But there's some important details that I want to talk about before I show you the routine that are important to take into consideration, because no one workout is going to be suitable for the end of time. So how you use this workout, what you're using it for, and why you're using it is really, really important. So I hope you enjoy the workout, guys, but please pay attention to the details before I actually show you the exercises, because how you use it and why you use it is where you really get the results from this program. Okay guys, so are you paying attention? You're not multitasking, and these are some of the really important points that you have to take notice of if you're going to get the most out of a routine, because a routine is just a routine. It's how you apply it into your overall training that becomes really, really important. And what you're going to see with these 6 exercises is I've adapted it from the original Jarovek Complex. I've added in Turkish Get Ups to replace the upright rows, because I think it's such a fundamental exercise for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes, and I've adapted it so it's more used. It can be used with kettlebells rather than originally intended with the barbell, but you can do both. I prefer kettlebells, because I think you should know that by now about me, because it's for something that I won't go into now on this video. And these 6 exercises, you're going to cover some of the main fundamental movements in the human body, like a squat in motion, a hip drive motion, so targeting the legs and the posterior chain, an upper body pull, an upper body push. The Turkish Get Up is going to take care of a lot of the core stability and core rotation work, and there's also some explosive / power movements in there as well that are going to prepare and develop the body for a more demanding specific strength and conditioning routine for a Jiu-Jitsu athlete. So that's why those exercises are included, but also, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this routine, and when should you be doing it? You should be doing this routine for a period of 4 weeks, sometimes longer, to prepare your body going into a more intensive training cycle. And it can either be used maybe at the start of a season. I know we don't have seasons in Jiu-Jitsu, but I talk about it a lot. You should be segmenting your training into blocks of 12 to 16 weeks or even longer, and have natural ups and downs within that cycle, but also within the year, to most optimize your physical performance. And when you would use this complex is going to be to prepare yourself going into a new cycle. So I'm going to use myself as a personal example. I've just come off the back of the Pan Ams. It's now early April in 2019, and the Masters Worlds is the next big competition I'm targeting. I may compete in between then, but the next big competition at the end of August. So I'm now doing a 4-week cycle of this to prepare my body after taking a week off after the Pans, before I go back into the more intensive training. And it's one of those routines that it's going to hit a little bit of hypertrophy in there, muscle building. I always mispronounce that word. A little bit of muscular endurance, some strength and some power in there. So it's a general workout, right? It doesn't specialize in any of those capabilities, but it's going to give you a general conditioning, a general strength, a general power base to go in to the more intensive workouts. So that's really important, guys. I want people to consider that when you're looking at this workout or other complex workouts that you see that chain together various exercises. You could use it forever and a day if you really wanted to, but the best time to use these is as a preparation phase to get your body ready for the most intensive training. That's a really important point I wanted to get across. Now, very quickly before we get into the actual exercises, and it'll be a demonstration of me doing the exercises rather than talking through them, because it's quite an intense workout. the loading and the rep ranges, you're going to be targeting and building up to 6 reps for each exercise back to back, and building up over a period of time of 3 times per week, building up to 3 sets for each session. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday as an example, you would do 3 sets of 6 back-to-back reps for each exercise, and you build yourself up over the 4 weeks and then deload slightly in the last week of that preparation phase. And if you're a novice, start off with the weight should be 30% of your body weight for most of these exercises, with the exception of the Turkish Get Up. So I would cut that in half to make it 15%, and obviously the pull-ups, because you're using your body weight, so it's a little bit different. So you may want to just taper the reps slightly there, and you go anywhere between 30 to 50% of your body weight if you're a more advanced athlete. But 50% of your body weight for these exercises is going to be very intense. So I would suggest starting off low and building up over time. But with that, guys, if you've got any other specific questions about this routine, how you should use it, etc., hit me up in the comments below. I'll be sure to get back to you and answer those questions, and we can engage in a bit of a dialogue. But with that, I'm now going to demonstrate the routine. The first exercise I'm going to start off with here is the Turkish Get Up. I love to use the Turkish Get Up to start off with. Everything is after a proper warm-up, of course, but it's the least dynamic of all the movements. It's a relatively slow, controlled movement, so I think it's the best one to put at the start of your set. And while I'm going through this, what I can't stress enough for all of these exercises and for this entire routine is make sure you are very, very comfortable with the form and technique of these exercises. I would even recommend taking a couple of weeks just individually getting familiar with each exercise. And I say that from, actually from this workout, I maybe pushed it slightly hard on one exercise that I'll talk about, and it got a very minor tweak, but it's something you want to avoid at all costs. And where I've got, videos to talk about the techniques of these exercises, I'll put the description below. But a Turkish Get Up, an absolute fundamental exercise for jiu-jitsu. If you heard me talk about it on my podcast, I love the Turkish Get Up. And I was going to say that I've been doing Turkish Get Ups for more than 10 years, and I'm using a relatively small space here for the purpose of demonstration, so I can get it all into one shot. But make sure your space is completely safe. Right? I'm doing this at my own risk, and I've been doing it for a very, very long time. And again, I'll link to the video for the technique of the Turkish Get Up. I won't cover the tips here. I'm going to talk about just the routine in general. So if you've been counting, it's 2 reps each side. Come down nice and safe. Bring the kettlebell down before going into the next exercise. Which is going to be kettlebell front squats, double front squats, followed by a push press. This is 2 exercises combined into one movement, and this for me personally is one of the toughest exercises. And you'll see on the second or third rep, I'm slowing down here because I'm not being dynamic on the upward movement. And the idea of a push press is not to have a slow, strict press, but you'll see here is to have a dynamic push with the legs to really explode up with the movement. And I'll admit my form isn't perfect on this. I probably should have used a little bit of a lower weight for this exercise. And I would caution you, if you're going to use a barbell to do this, or kettlebells, maybe even start off with 20% of your body weight and really take your time to get comfortable with this. There's no rush. There really isn't no rush. Then the next exercise we're going to go straight into is going to be the kettlebell swings. 6 reps. This is about 50%, I think, of my body weight. I think I've used 50% of my body weight for most of these and 25% for the Turkish Get Up. And this is straight in now into the closed grip pull-ups. And if the closed grip pull-ups are too challenging for you, you could always do horizontal rows and vary the angle to allow you to get those 6 reps in. And now, I believe this is the final exercise.
is going to be the snatch high pull. And this is very important for the snatch high pull, is to make sure that you're using a triple extension and driving through, the heels are coming up off the floor, and as you bring the kettlebell back down, there's a bend in the knees. So search for snatch high pull if you wanted to go into a more detailed video. And I tried to smile at the end, but I'm blowing hard. It's a tough workout. I hope you enjoy that one.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. As you can see, it's quite intense. It's very important to focus on form more than anything else, and then the speed of the movement, but never compromise your form for these exercises. If you can't hit the reps at the start, that's okay. Taper it back and build up over time. Give it a go, let me know what you think, and remember, this is not something that should be used forever and a day. You want variation in your training. This is a good preparation phase routine to build yourself up for more intense training within your training cycle. Give it a go guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it.